Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'd like to talk to you about football, soccer, or as we all know it, the beautiful game. I'd like to talk to you about Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Haaland, and Mbappe. I'd like to talk to you about last-minute winners and underdogs winning Premier Leagues. As football fans, we love an underdog story. We love the upsets. The story of Leicester City winning the Premier League and Ajax's historical Champions League run. What made these possible? Was it just perfect timing, great luck, or were there some smart transfers involved? My name is Rushil Daya, and I'm part of the data science team here at BBD. And when I'm not working, I'm watching football. So with this in mind, I present to you a takeaway on data science in football. How can data be used in football? There are various aspects of the game in which data and the relevant information gained can be used. To name a few, the physical, i.e. actually playing the game. Data can be used to fine-tune group training by providing recommendations of training drills for the team based on past performances. Data can also be used for the creation and management of tactics for a team based on the upcoming opponent's playing style and weaknesses. The next one is the management. This is more about the operations and the running and financial management of a club. Lastly, we have recruitment, and this involves buying new players for a team. Today, I'll be focusing on the latter, the use of data science in recruitment at football clubs. Recruitment at football clubs is arguably the most important part of running a club. Doing it right will win your team trophies, and doing it wrong will cause the best team in the world not to win a single trophy in years, like my team. How can data be used to facilitate transfers in football? What information would you aim to find from this data? Expected goals, chances created per minute. What about the money side of these transfers? Not every club has millions of pounds to spend on players. How can clubs best spend their transfer budget? Big clubs can spend premium prices for top-rated players. But what about the rest? How can they buy for the future? They don't have the money to buy these top-rated players. So for them, a large focus is placed on finding undervalued players in the market, finding hidden gems among the rest. Think of Leicester signing N'Golo Kante, Jamie Vardy, and Riyad Mahrez. And for those who don't know, these players helped Leicester win the Premier League against 5,000 to 1 odds. Just like everything in tech, there's a buzzword for this concept. This concept of finding undervalued players in the market, and that is Moneyball. Moneyball refers to the use of statistics, data, and analytics to find and recruit undervalued players for a team. In football, this term can be explained as overlooking traditional wisdom around player scouting and instead using data to find what the market undervalues. That's plenty of words. Let's illustrate this through an example. Let's compare player A, Amy, to player B, myself. Amy and I are both 22 years old, playing the Premier League. We've each played 20 games and registered 50 shots on goal. Amy, however, has scored 15 goals, and I have only scored 5. So with this information, we can see that Amy is clearly the better player and will be worth more in the transfer market. Using a Moneyball approach, let's overlook this information for now and consider additional data. Let's look at a typical metric that is used called XG, or expected goals. What is XG? XG is the probability that a shot will result in a goal based on the characteristics of that shot and the events leading up to it. Some of these characteristics include the location of the shooter. This is about how far was the player from the goal and what angle on the pitch. Next is the body part. Was it a header or off the shooter's foot? The type of pass, was it from a through ball, cross, or a set piece? And lastly, the type of the attack. Was it from an established possession? Was it off a rebound? Did the defense have enough time to get into position? Now that we have some insight into XG and how it works, let's get back to the example. Amy has scored her 15 goals from an XG of 10, and I have scored my 5 goals from an XG of 12. Based off of this information, you can see that I am currently underperforming, and I am more likely to score more goals if I start performing to my expected XG. Based on the Moneyball approach, I would be a bargain buy, as my current value of total goals relative to my XG is causing my value to be undervalued. So any club adopting a Moneyball philosophy would buy me instead of Amy. Based on this theoretical example, we can all see the potential that Moneyball has. But does this approach work in real life? Of course it does, and that's why I'm giving this talk. Does anybody know which club is renowned for adopting a Moneyball approach? Okay, they play in the Premier League and their nickname is the Bees. Okay, the answer is Brentford Football Club. Brentford Football Club is a small club located in West London. And a few weeks ago, I actually had the pleasure of going down there and watching a game. I watched the Carabao Cup game against Gillingham, where they unfortunately lost on penalties and were knocked out. On to something happier though. Let's have a look at how Brentford adopted the Moneyball philosophy. Lee Dykes is the head of player recruitment at Brentford, and he has adopted Moneyball in the following 3 aspects. 1, the use of traditional data and statistics that are often overlooked in buying players. 2, team composition. Dykes places a huge importance on the need of players' abilities and strengths to suit each other in order for the team to succeed. For example, if you have a tall, aerially dominant striker, you need a player who is able to cross the ball in successfully. If you have a pacey winger, you need players who are able to produce accurate through balls into space. And lastly, he looked at player development. Dykes incorporated a very cost-efficient approach that prioritizes the future growth of a club. His approach is to buy 2 young players and an older, more experienced player to pair them with. They did this, for example, by bringing veteran Pontus Jansson. This approach allows the young players to learn and develop quickly, which will benefit the team and also be a potentially high-value sale in the future. The Moneyball approach allows teams to find undervalued players to better the team. For example, current players Ivan Toney and Ethan Pinnock, who are now instrumental in Brentford's chances of winning. But now is the time of the year to talk money. Buying undervalued players and developing them, selling them for higher prices seems very promising, right? Exactly right. And Brentford did exactly this. Andre Gray was bought for 620,000 and eventually sold for 12.4 million. Ollie Watkins was bought for 7 million and sold for 34 million. And lastly, Neil Maupay was bought for 2 and sold for 22 million. So yes, Moneyball makes you money. Brentford also have a tactical statistician who gives the manager, Thomas Frank, real-time data-based analysis during matches in order to aid tactical decisions. They also have a sleep coach who provides players information to maximize their sleep to promote recovery. This progressive and innovative thinking brought the small club into the Premier League, and I have no doubt will keep them there in the future. For those interested, there is a book about Moneyball entitled Moneyball, The Art of Winning an Unfair Game by Michael Lewis. And for those who prefer a movie, there is one that is based directly on the book, starring Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. So it is definitely a good movie. Thank you very much.